Hello, I'm Mark Crutcher, and you're watching Live Talk for Tuesday, March 5th, 2019. And I'm joined by the usual suspects. First, my daughter Sheila,
Yes, hi, who is now wearing
who
glasses.
just found out she had to wear glasses.
Yes.
And my worthy assistant Renee.
That's right, worthy. I like that.
Worthy assistant.
And I wasn't here last week. I'm back.
You're back, and you got your glasses.
They're my reading glasses. Yes.
So
Right.
two shows ago, not one of us was wearing glasses, and now all three of us are.
Yes.
Yes,
All
y'all
eyes.
dragged me in.
We're sorry.
I tried to get by, after I had my cataract surgery.
And it just was a pain,
It
wasn't
was
it?
a pain in the neck having to carry reading glasses around your neck, and
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, these are by my side quite often now.
And let's not forget the newest member of the usual suspects, which is Ernie,
Yes.
the frilled neck lizard, and he's back with us today. There he is.
Representing
Republican Party.
stupid politicians.
No, just the Republicans who like to think
yeah.
they're brave,
Big
but
and
they're
bad,
not.
and then they run off.
Run off as
Right.
soon as they start a fight. They run.
Yep.
Just like the frilled neck lizard. And if you haven't seen him on you can go YouTube and look up frilled neck lizards. It's pretty hilarious to see these guys take off. Anyway, got a lot of things to talk about this show. First off, you wanted to give a little update, Sheila, some ruckus you've been causing on social media over the rate report that we released a few weeks ago.
So about
For people that don't know, this is our report on the number of women who get raped in abortion clinics, and it's a common problem. And
dynamics.com/rape.
Yep.
It talks about the scandal that abortion advocates, lobby, politicians, and the media like to stay silent on.
Yep.
And they are still staying silent on it. We've been sharing it online. We've sent it to Me Too movement. We've let Planned Parenthood know about this, let individual politicians and mainstream media
right now, Renee, you
know
sent
about
it to
it.
60 politicians.
I did, and I only heard back from one of them. And once we released it, I sent it to her, and nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Crickets
Nothing.
is all
Yeah.
we're hearing
And-
from these people.
Yep.
And we've also been posting to their social media accounts. And so they can't, say, oh, we didn't know about it. They're just choosing to stay silent on it.
All they can say is we didn't care about it.
Yeah, and we even say, hey, comment on this, and nothing.
Right.
But individual pro-choice people have been getting up in arms about it, been sharing it to Facebook groups and stuff, and they're either silent about it or get mad and, oh, this is just some pro-life propaganda. This is from a pro-life website. You can't trust them. And
So like we made up all those police reports
Yeah,
and
yeah.
those court documents and these newspaper articles where these guys were sent to prison. We made up all that stuff.
Yeah.
And all these women that have come forward accusing these guys of raping them,
Yeah.
they're all lying.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's so hypocritical how they advocate for women's rights, and when somebody is harmed
Yeah.
at the clinic doing what they advocate for, then they don't care.
Yeah.
They're silent.
They're silent, or they just call us liars. And
Well, what basically, and of course we anticipated this. We talked about this for the years that we were doing this whole
Right.
research project, that we knew this is what they would do. But basically, they're saying that for men who want to rape women, abortion clinics are a sanctuary city.
That's right.
If that's what you want to do,
Right.
go to work in an abortion clinic, become an abortionist, and you can rape all the women you want to,
And it's okay.
and it's okay.
They just want to
don't
sweep
care.
it under the rug. They don't
Yeah.
want anybody to talk about it.
shared the video of the Janet video, the victim who was who came on Live Talk.
Yep, we had her a couple of weeks ago.
And gave her testimony about being a victim of an abortionist. And they completely just ignored the video and was like, oh, well, it's from a pro-life website. What do you expect?
Yeah.
So you're telling me that you're discrediting this woman's testimony because of your own personal bias against the pro-life movement?
Exactly what they're telling you.
Exactly.
That's what exactly.
So,
They see these women, it's like we've talked about before. They're just the cost of doing business. If a few women have to get raped, or thousands, and make sure people understand this. We know for a fact, we documented, thousands of women have been raped in American abortion
Yes, they
clinics.
have.
Thousands.
Yes.
And the abortion industry looks at collateral damage. There's the cost of doing business. If women have to be raped in order for us to kill babies, then let women be raped. That's what they're saying.
I would like to put a challenge out there. Nobody's gonna take me up on this challenge, But I would like for Planned Parenthood or some politician or somebody from the Me Too movement to contact you to try to debate you, argue that this isn't true.
That this isn't happening.
That this isn't happening.
Right.
Let someone try contacting you and, discredit this.
Well, the thing that really is infuriating about this, other than the obvious that they don't care about these women, we all know good and well, if we had released a report saying, or if anybody released a report saying that women were being raped at crisis pregnancy centers, this would be front page news across the country for months. That's all you'd hear about. And if people didn't go to prison,
they would close down all of the CPCs
Right.
in the country.
right, every crisis pregnancy center run by the pro-life movement would be shut down overnight if this were them. But anyway, we continue on, and
People need to share it to get it out there. And
that's right. We're counting on people out in the field because the media is not going to do it.
No.
We know
And
that
there's
for
a
sure.
whole lot more to the report than what we've talked about briefly
Right.
up here. So
Just go to lifedynamics.com/rape and read the report, and we'll show some things on there that people can do to help get this out.
Well, and people that have looked at the project, said people have said I had to. They've commented I've had to stop reading in the middle of it, take a break, getting mad, getting upset, and yes, it is upsetting, but this is information that needs to be
Right.
out there.
Real quickly, before we move on to robots here in a minute, a new report out by medical groups, American College of Pediatricians, American Association of Pro-Life OBGYNs, and other medical groups that represent over 30,000 doctors have issued a report saying exactly what we've been saying for years. There is no medical condition that a woman can suffer that her health is improved by a late-term abortion. A late-term abortion is never done to protect the health of the woman. And something that's really strange about this is we've seen these efforts now, like in New York and Virginia and Rhode Island and some other states, of allowing abortion even after the baby's born. Because their argument is, I'll just paraphrase it, but basically their argument is when a woman goes into an abortion clinic to have an abortion, she's entitled to a dead baby.
That's right.
And if that baby happens to survive the abortion, that doesn't change it. She's still entitled to a dead baby.
right. That's
And
what
when
they've
you-
asked for.
Huh?
That's what they asked for.
That's what they asked for, so that's what they get. And some of these pro-aborts are even saying that on social media. They're saying she went in there to have that baby killed. She's entitled to have that baby killed, even if the baby pops out alive. Now, when you start debating these people, they'll say, yeah, but this is only to protect the health of the mother. I want someone, you're talking about challenge someone to come on here. I want someone to come on here and tell me how it is. A woman is pregnant, the baby pops out. The baby's now over here. How killing that baby has
Right.
anything at all to do with her health.
That's
We've
right.
we've gone from killing babies in the womb to now infanticide.
Yeah, infanticide. And
Infanticide, yes.
it's, but hey, we've been predicting this for 40 years, over 40 years.
Well, and Peter Singer, he
Right.
has said that we can kill a child up to what, 2
years.
years
2
old?
years.
2 years
And
old.
there should be absolutely nothing wrong with that.
He's, really, and I've made this point before, his position is the most intellectually honest.
Yeah,
Because he's
honest.
saying there's no distinction between a baby outside the womb and inside the womb. So if we can kill them inside the womb, I think parents ought to be given 2 years to decide.
If they have a connection with their child. If they don't,
If he said if the parents don't bond with the baby, then let them have that baby euthanized.
I mean, he's right. I mean, but he's wrong. He's right that he's being honest about it.
He's being
yes.
consistent.
He understands what the implications
Right.
are, but at the same time, it's morally corrupt. That's
yeah.
it's evil, but intellectually, he's
Oh,
correct.
he's a total evil person.
Yeah.
But it makes the point that we've talked about here before. The pro-aborts and the pro-lifers know exactly the same thing about the unborn baby. We all have the same facts. They are now conceding that they're living human beings. The only difference between them and us is they say, yes, they're living human beings inside the womb, they're living human beings outside the womb, but it's okay to kill them.
Right.
We're saying they're living human beings inside the womb, living human beings outside the womb. It's not justified to kill them. You can't justify killing them.
Right.
And that's the only difference. We all know the same biological information.
That's right.
So it's just, we don't think they should be killed. They think they should be.
And scientifically, we are getting more and more information on the womb and just
The humanity of the baby.
Exactly.
And they're out here saying these babies can learn math now in the womb. If they can learn math, are they not a living human being?
Well, and they respond to noises and stuff.
Right.
Like pregnant women put headphones up to their stomachs and play, classical music and,
Right.
soothing music for babies.
And they know that these babies react to the voices of their mothers and react. So the argument that they're obligate parasites or are
Just
clumps
globs
of
of
cells,
cells.
that's long gone.
Yeah.
By the way, and of course, all of the Democratic candidates voted against the Baby Born Alive Infant Protection Act.
Of course.
That would protect babies outside the womb. All of them voted against, including Elizabeth Warren. And she was
surprise.
confronted. We've got a little short clip here we want to play.
Pocahontas, you mean?
Pocahontas was confronted by
Yes.
by some people over this issue. Let's play this little clip.
All right, Senator Warren, I just got the signal. We just have one more for you, and then it's picture time. So let's hear it.
What about the babies that survive abortions? How come they can't have health care?
Infanticide is illegal everywhere in
You
America.
voted against it.
Go ahead. Infanticide is illegal everywhere in America.
Pocahontas,
She should, she's on the campaign trail. That was at a campaign rally for her. She should start wearing an Indian headdress.
headdress, right.
Yeah,
Yeah, she
since
should.
she's so Native American.
yeah, this magic marker has more Native American in it than she does. But anyway, but it's a legitimate question. How come babies that survive, she's for universal health care,
Yes.
but the universe apparently doesn't include the unborn child.
Right.
So she's being asked, how come that unborn child doesn't have universal health care?
Right.
And she went to the the default answer of infanticide is illegal everywhere in America.
Right.
Well, yes, it is, but it's not upheld. And
Well, first off, if it's illegal everywhere, then what harm does a piece of federal legislation do
Exactly.
that says infanticide's illegal? If it's already illegal, why do you care?
right? I
Right.
mean,
Yeah.
But
you
it-
have something, Renee?
Well, I mean, just right here, I just want to read this. Warren bragged about the universal health plan that would help the most vulnerable members of society, including sick babies and the elderly. And I guess the unborn isn't included in any of
They're not
that.
vulnerable.
So-
I guess they can defend themselves, right?
so I guess I would like to ask her: at one point, do these babies become vulnerable? Do they have to have been born and been outside the womb for an hour? Would they then be able to have this universal
where does this
haircut?
end?
No, because that's where they lock the babies up in a closet to let them die.
And sometimes
yeah.
they survive for hours.
And yeah, they
Yeah,
do.
but at one point, in her mind, is it
Right.
okay for this baby to receive health care?
Right. And if the mother does have the right to have the baby killed outside the womb, again, where does that end? Is it an hour, a day, a year? Peter Singer, 2 years, right?
Yep.
Anyway.
Well, with the new laws coming in, it's getting later and later. I mean, you can do it up until they're born. So.
But I think it's important that this is nothing new, that in Doe versus Bolton, they allowed abortion, up to 9 births.
At 9 months, right.
9 months. The minute, that baby, up to 9 months, for, the health of the mother.
Yep.
And that can include mental health. They didn't give a
Well,
good
they just said the age of the mother. They didn't say too old or too young.
No.
So you could have two 25-year-old women walking into an abortion clinic, and one of them says, I'm pregnant and I'm 25. I think I'm too old to have a baby. I'm pregnant. I'm 25, but I think I'm too young. And it fits the Doe versus Bolton.
Yeah, and
model.
so this has always been an issue since that legislation has come out. It's just, it's getting new attention.
Yep, it has, and it's very predictable. The pro-life movement's been saying this for 40 years, and we've been called nutcases because we predicted exactly what is happening in American society today would one day happen, and they said, "You people are nutty. It'll never happen." Well, here we are. This is
Surprise,
where we are.
surprise.
It's happening.
I tell you what, let's take out a few minutes here, or a couple of minutes for robots, and when we come back, we got I think what's a real important issue to discuss real quickly. Anyway, let's take this moment for robots.
In 1973, the U.S. Supreme Court legalized abortion nationwide. The decision is called Roe v. Wade, and those who defend it are known as robots. This is how they think.
It is impossible to prove that abortion takes the life of a human being, since even theologians can't agree about when a soul enters the body.
To appreciate just how utterly asinine this argument is, imagine that a man is on trial for murder and his attorney claims that he should be found not guilty because the prosecution failed to prove that the victim had a soul. Believe me, that attorney would be laughed out of court, and his client would be on his way to prison. The fact is, whether the unborn are living human beings or not, and whether they have souls or not, are two separate issues. Besides, opposition to abortion has nothing to do with souls, since no one can scientifically prove that souls even exist, much less show when one enters a body. So if we're going to claim that it is acceptable to kill the unborn because we don't know if they have souls or not, then that same argument can be used to justify killing 5-year-olds and 30-year-olds. It is also important to understand that America is not a theocracy. Instead, we have a secular political process in which the battle over abortion is not some ivory tower religious debate about how many angels can dance on the head of a pin. It is a real-world struggle between life and death. And the proven biological reality is that a new human life is created at the moment a woman's egg is fertilized. That means abortion kills the smallest, most vulnerable, and most defenseless human being in our community. And that is something civilized societies do not allow, regardless of what a bunch of theologians may or may not agree upon. Of course, maybe we should be open to the possibility that some human beings don't have souls. But that if that is true, the place to find them is not in the wombs of their mothers, but working at abortion clinics. All right. Again, words to live by, don't you think?
Yes, such
Genius.
words of wisdom.
Pure genius.
It's just beyond belief that, someone can not only support this evil, but then be doing this evil as well.
And come up with these just pathetic excuses for it. It's just unbelievable.
Very pathetic.
At least
Anyway,
own up to it.
Speaking of unbelievable, we had a situation that we've had in the past, and we had a story about this many, many years ago, similar to this one. This one involves, in New Mexico, a couple traveled to New Mexico to have an abortion, have their baby killed, and it didn't take. The baby survived the abortion, wanted to live worse than they wanted to kill him, I guess. And so the baby survived. Now they're filing a lawsuit against the abortion mill for basically, these are wrongful birth lawsuits. The baby should not have been born.
Right.
And we had a suit like this, or we were contacted about a suit like this many, many years ago, and it was in Arizona. This couple were concert musicians, and they wanted to raise a concert musician. But the baby that they had a deformed thumb. They found out in utero. And they sought an abortion to have this baby killed because they wanted him or her to be a violinist or something. He couldn't be with a deformed thumb or whatever. And they wound up having an abortion. And to me, it always symbolized that how utterly selfish, and that's the core of abortion, is selfishness. It's I'm more important, I'm more valuable, my life counts, your life doesn't. That's what we say to the unborn. Our lives are valuable. God loves us more than he loves you. He didn't even know you exist, basically.
And I would like for these parents that have failed abortions that say, wish the abortion had been successful, hate now that we have this baby. When that baby grows up,
What do they say to him?
tell that to your baby's face, his or her face. Oh, didn't want you. We tried to kill you, but you survived, so you're an unwanted baby.
And we got a lot of money.
Yeah.
Well, in this story, she was apparently 6 weeks pregnant when she found out the abortion was a failed abortion, they wanted her to go back to New Mexico. She was only 9 weeks at that point, and she said morally she couldn't do it because it was too much of a baby at that point.
It was a baby.
Really?
And
Really?
they traveled more than 700 miles. And the reason that they said that they were having the abortion was because they couldn't afford a baby. So they spent the money to travel to try to kill the baby. Once it failed, they said, "Oh, well, it's too late now. Now, this is a baby, we're gonna go ahead and try to sue Planned Parenthood and others to help us pay for the cost of this child because they failed to kill it."
Well, it's a shame that this child can't be taken away from the parents. Right. They have no business whatsoever allowing to keep this baby. It really infuriates me.
Me as well. You've heard me say it before, and I've caught a lot of flack even from pro-lifers. I don't think people who label themselves pro-choice on the abortion issue should be allowed to adopt. It just infuriates me when I see the number of good, decent Christian pro-life people that are out here cannot have children,
Right.
and that are waiting for years,
Right.
to have a baby and spending. I can't even wrap my head around what it costs now. They say average $50,000 to adopt a child. That eliminates 99% of the people in America from adopting. And then pro-choice people come out here and adopt children.
Don't advocate for somebody else to kill their child, and then you find out you can't have a child, so therefore you need to adopt a baby, and that's okay. I don't know.
Well, first off, what they're saying is the baby that I'm going to adopt
could have been killed.
and I would have been okay.
And I would have, yeah.
I'd have been okay with it. I think this baby did not have a right to life,
Right.
inherently have a right to life, but I want to adopt that baby for myself.
My question is, why would they even want to have a baby? Why would they even want to adopt a baby? These people obviously don't care about babies. They obviously don't have respect for them. They don't have respect for life. And if that's the case, why would they want to then turn around and take care of this child?
It's selfishness.
It's
It's because it's their timing. It's when they're ready.
And it's what we've said here many times before. What their view is the baby's value is only the same as what value he gives to us. He doesn't have, or she doesn't have, any inherent value.
Yeah.
It's just whatever they can bring to the table that makes us feel better.
Well, he or she is treated as a commodity.
Right, exactly.
Well, it doesn't sound like this person, this couple, or Planned Parenthood got what they wanted, because what we talked about before robots was you go in for a dead baby, you get a dead baby. Right. Nobody got a dead baby in this situation.
Right.
Praise God.
Well, Planned Parenthood got what they wanted. They got the money that they wanted.
Yeah.
I mean, that's their ultimate goal, is just to get the money.
Well, here's the deal about it. If Planned Parenthood, if these people had gone ahead with the second abortion, Planned Parenthood would have got to kill two babies.
Yeah, right.
Got the profit for two babies.
Well, and maybe the mom.
Because we've had a story about this one time before. When these people go in for an abortion and it doesn't happen, it doesn't take, so to speak. It looks like to me that just by consumer protection laws, the abortion clinic, if they come back, should have to do the second one for free, but they don't.
Yeah.
So they get 2 bites of the apple,
Right.
and that's a win-win for them.
Yeah.
They only have to kill the baby once, but to get paid for it twice.
And that happens a lot,
happens a
and
lot.
abortion advocates certainly don't want people to know about that, because if abortion is such a great thing, then women wouldn't have to go back and pay out of their pocket to
Right.
have a second abortion.
Right.
Well, they cover their honeys on their intake form, saying that it possibly could not take, like 94 to 98% it may not take.
Right. Yeah. 2 or 3% of them
Yeah,
don't. So
and if it doesn't, got to pay for more,
got to pay
more money.
Yep.
That just helps prove that all they're after is
Imagine
money.
if you took your car in to have a new battery put in it, and they said, "Okay, we put this new battery," and then the next day the battery's no good,
Right.
and you came back and they said, "Okay, now you got to buy another battery."
Wrong.
No.
they would be
think so.
reported to the Better Business Bureau.
What about the battery I bought yesterday?
Right.
From you.
I have
this
the
battery.
receipt. Yes.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. These people, I am absolutely convinced. The average pro-choice person if they think about, if they're smart enough to know what they're doing, if they're not, some of them are just stupid, but if they're smart enough to actually know what they're advocating, they're purely evil.
Or
They have no-
mentally ill. You hear of the way some abortionists talk, like Finkel.
Right.
He's mentally ill. Like there's something wrong up there.
There's something wrong with all of them. Chief.
Yeah.
Something wrong with every
Most
one of them.
definitely.
But, you know, I remember I'm always thinking about one of the stories from, you've heard me tell it, and Renee's heard me tell it here a few times. When you were little, you were about 3 or 4, you were still in pre-K or something. And every day, Tulane would bring you to the office, and you'd come running down that long hall at our old building. Long hall, I hear your little pitter-patter of your little feet come down that hall. And you come run, jump up in my lap for a minute. And one day we were dealing with, I remember the Carolina Gutierrez case down in Florida. And this was a malpractice case that we were working on. And this poor lady died in slow motion over about 3 days.
So sad.
She had a septic infection, and they first cut off one of her hands to try to stop it. Then they cut off an arm. Then they cut off another arm. Then they cut off half one of her legs, then the whole leg. And at the end, she was a trunk and half of one leg.
All from a safe and legal abortion.
And then she died. And we had dealt with this over a period of about 3 days with her husband, who didn't speak English, and she was down in Florida. Her name was Carolina Gutierrez. And finally she died, and it was very traumatic. And you came in that day and jumped up in my lap, and it wasn't a joyous occasion like it usually was. And I remember you saying, Daddy, did the bad boys, that's what you always call them when they were little, when you were little, did the bad boys hurt another lady? And I said, yes, they did. And did they kill her baby? And I said, yes, they did. Well, is she okay? And he said, no, she just died a few minutes ago. And you just kind of sat there for a few minutes, and all of a sudden you just looked at me and you said, well, they didn't get me. And I thought, even at 3 or 4, that you were, probably 3, you had made the connection, and we always wondered about that, you know, because you grew up at Life Dynamics, whether you had made the connection between adoption, because we had adopted you, and abortion. And right then I knew that you had, you know, and you hugged me and said, well, Daddy, they didn't get me. And that's when I first knew, you know, that you had figured it out. But anyway, so if a little 3 or 4-year-old kid can figure it out, these people can figure it out. They just don't care.
Without a doubt.
They just don't give a damn. That's the big issue.
Yep.
Anyway, y'all got anything else?
Nothing else?
No, just
I want to encourage people. We were going to do this last week. Get a copy of my book, Siege. There's a lot of good stuff in here about where we're headed in the pro-life movement, where we need to go, and the things that we need to be doing in the future. And you can order one on our website or give us a call at our office number here and order a copy of Siege. I don't know. What are we selling them for? Do you remember? Like
15?
I don't remember off the top of my head. But people
us on
can
the
go
spot.
to lifedynamics.com and then on the products link.
Products link.
Yeah.
I think you really get an insight into the battle in the future. So
Yeah.
anyway, again, y'all got anything else?
Nothing else?
No, just to go get Siege and continue to share the
Rape
rape
Project.
project.
Rape Project.
Put some pressure on politicians, the media, Me Too movement.
Right.
See if we can at least get a little nibble from
How about
them.
you, Ernie? You got anything else? Ernie seems to be a little bit quiet.
Let us know if you have any issues that you would like for us to talk about on the show.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just send
Right.
those to us, and
Let Renee know.
and if we use it, yes, you'll get the mug. I don't know if you can see it. Mug. Mug.
We will send you a mug if we use your
Yes.
stuff on the. And we try to be a service-based organization. So if you have a question, you have an issue, you have a problem with something we've said here, let us know. And heck, we might even have you on by telephone. We've had other guests on by telephone. So
Yep.
just let us know. Anyway, that's all the time we've got. Until next time, remember, Life Dynamics is not here to put up a good fight. We're here to win, because winning is how the killing stops. We'll see you next Tuesday.